begins. Just pop those earbuds in. Hanging out with John Jay. Watch your troubles drifting away. Something planted in your ears. Tears are in your eyes. You can't hear your doorbell ring. You can't hear your baby cry.
Something Planet Podcast, episode number 553. Welcome to it. I am your host, John Jay. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Today, I got some very special guests. And first time on the show, please welcome to the show Darrell Bevins and Nick J from Orange Hour.
Fantastic.
I did it. I did
You
I did a whole introduction, and I didn't fuck up once.
You did great, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming over, guys. They're here to talk about their new album. Do you have a name for the album yet?
Yes.
Go ahead, buddy.
It's called Severed.
Severed.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of dark. It's kind of mysterious, and I like it. I like it. What is the general theme or vibe of this album? You guys have been working on this for like a year or more, right?
Well, we've worked on this project going from Gorilla Ants Productions to Orange Hour, the band. We've worked on for a few years. Orange Hour started actually, was it 15 years ago? What is it, 16 years ago?
2009.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Quite a while.
Yeah, and it was it started off as a 3-piece, and we added a lead guitar. And then we did regional things, and won song competitions and things like that. And
But you never had the full album until.
well, we recorded stuff, and we had an album that we were going to sell, but we had no money to back it. We weren't going to get a record company to do this for us, so we wanted to do it ourselves. That's when I moved out to California and did all of that. I was trying to gain the funding for a band, you know.
Well, the weed industry is it's definitely a money making industry.
Or it's a get yourself in fucking trouble.
Yeah, you could definitely get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, so.
Well, it depends on where you work. You know, there's a dispensary at the end of my street. I don't think any of those guys are getting in trouble.
This was pre all of that. This was definitely, it was all still illegal across the country. And
well, you don't have to say that it was illegal. You could just be like, yeah, I was doing it legally.
Oh no, I was in a legal state. I was in California. I was
Right.
in the legal state of the country, and it didn't matter. So, but anyway,
I thought anybody can just grow it out there.
you
Well, now I guess
to a certain
right,
amount.
there's like a plant limit or something like that.
Yeah. You think you can grow whatever you want. Just, yeah, you'll see. They will come, they'll fly over you, they'll know that you're doing it, and then they will take that shit from you. But no, you can grow a couple plants, and we should be able to do that all across the country, but we don't need to do that today because
It's all good. Man. No worries. No worries.
But that's how Orange Hour started, and then we went on a hiatus because that money never came to fruition. We never finished that album. We never got done with that. And when I got back from California, we decided to start a different project. We just wanted a different name, and we decided Gorilla Ants.
Gorilla Ants, and I have listened to because you guys released some tracks from
full
under
album.
Gorilla Ants, right?
Yeah, full album.
full
actually.
album. Okay.
We did. We finished. It was kind of finishing that past and trying to start something new. And within that, we figured out that Orange Hour is really the band. That's the name. That's the name of the band. That's what we want to. We want people to go to an Orange Hour show.
Yeah. Where did Gorilla Ants come from?
I wanted to be in a band called Growling Ants because I was pissed off, you know. And then I told him, and he said, "We need something stronger than that. What about Gorilla Ants?" And I was like, "I'm in." And he got a tattoo, and I went to town on video and AI production and shit. So and then now
I feel like you got to get a tattoo of Gorilla Ants now. Just to don't worry about the light.
Well, yeah, he said allegedly he was going to get one when it sells X amount of records. But, you know, to your first question, though, of what is the theme or the idea of Severed,
Severed,
the album,
yes.
It's kind of honestly, it's kind of like a dystopian love story mixed with a tinge of, simulation theory and Matrix and all this stuff.
Okay.
As just a thematic element. So taking that and then taking some of these originally acoustic folk songs that Darrell originally composed and then turning them into more of like a rock alternative vibe, and then with that theme on top of that influences the music, influences the lyrics. It's pretty interesting. It's also influenced the artwork to the album, which are all things that we've never thought that deeply about an album. Usually it was like, hey, this song is cool, let's put it on. Oh, this one's kind of cool, and we'll see what we get. And now it's been more like from the jump, it's been, well, let's try to tell this version of this story, and we think we've done it pretty well. We'll have to see in the next however long that takes to fully come out and be published as a composition, but we think that we've told that story the way we wanted to.
Yeah. Well, what stage are you at in the process right now for as far as releasing?
Right now we've got the skeleton of every song done. So we got the drums and bass and guitar and vocals on. So now it's really listening to it before mix to know we've got everything that we need. So we're just adding certain overdubs to finish it and then get it mixed. Yeah. So I think we're going to have a first song in either August or September. Okay. I think we'll start releasing songs every couple weeks up until the actual album release, maybe in November.
That's kind of the strategy now, right? Where you just kind of like a song every week until it comes out. Well, we have 8 singles.
Exactly, or else nobody ever really hears them. Nobody listens to a full album anymore, and so that's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to say, hey, put this on and then leave it.
Well, we're also no longer like pandering to like people. We're pandering to like a computer algorithm.
Right.
True.
So that it'll show it to people.
But you know what though? To that, I would make a objection to that. And I just talked about this last night with my fiance about music, and we were going through and listing like our favorite bands, and then it was like, okay, our favorite artist, and then our favorite albums. Mm-hmm. And when we got to albums, she was like, man, I got nothing because I love this guy, but I like 2 songs, so I can't really say with confidence. And I said, well, see, there's a problem.
That's the iPad shuffle generation,
right? But
or iPod shuffle generation.
But if that artist was really, really good, maybe you would have been more compelled to listen to track 1 through track 13 instead of going garbage, 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 good, don't like it, don't like it. And to me, I can rattle off at least I'd say a dozen albums that I can listen to start to finish. So I don't know if it's completely like people's attention span, which is there.
It's
a lack.
That's definitely part of the problem.
It is. But maybe if you give them something, like if you gave me the best tasting, food, I wouldn't just take one bite. I would go it out until you don't have any inventory.
Right.
So I don't know. I personally believe if we can present them that story.
I mean, I'm an old man, so I, still listen to every, like if an artist that I like comes out with an album, I just listen to it at least one time from front to back, at least once. Love like that, just to see, because that's how they intended you to listen to it, right?
That's really cool. That's respect. That's very,
again,
very
that's
cool.
Another element that I thought very, very closely was, what is the order of this album? Or before it would have been like track 1 can be track, who cares? It doesn't matter. Now it's like, no, it has to tell that story. And I think the best albums that I like historically, they did tell a story.
Right.
And when you go back and look at it with that lens and go, okay, what story they're telling here, that's what makes it so good. So again, if we can pull that off, maybe we can convince and re-educate maybe the music nation to say, hey, don't just take that one song. Listen to the whole story, because out of context, it's great, but it's part of it.
It starts with the idea of like a rage kind of feeling, and at the end of the song, the last feeling is love, and it really goes full circle. And I had never written an album like that. It was really the both of us pushing each other to say, this this is the way that we want it to feel. This is exactly
just go for it. Put it out there.
Right.
Put your whole self out there, you know?
Yeah, see, that's funny. That's the feeling that we had now that since age 15, playing out musically, my mindset was always, I want to be famous. Not because I want to have a jet plane, but this one wasn't about, as much as I want everyone and their brother to hear it. It's funny, the goal was, this is just so artistic to me that I need to get it out.
Right.
Right. And I think that's how you feel too. It's like, we just want to get this thing out. And, if it's something we can leave behind, that's how I'm approaching it.
No, I think that's great. Honestly, I think most of us are just too worried about being cool most of the time.
Right.
And that's kind of how it is with stand-up comedy, is like you can't even be funny until you let go of being cool.
Right. You got to
put yourself out there.
That is pretty cool.
I spent my whole life in music, and I feel like this last album was the only thing I ever really released. The rest of it was a dress rehearsal. It was just,
right.
I just kept writing songs to see, where is there going to be one that I like, But I feel like this last album, we're going to take 4 songs and we're going to make them, they are Orange Hour. They're going to be branded as Orange Hour.
Okay.
And they're going to be things we play in the future live. We had never even discussed playing live really in the past up till now. This album and plus a few songs from the past, we're gonna play live and we're excited about it. So
right, yeah,
been a minute since we've been on stage together.
Well, yeah, we were talking
That's
before the
true.
show about maybe putting together a comedy and music night again, like you and your brother were doing in downtown St. Pete.
Yes, I think it's a great idea. I mean, music and comedy go together. People want to laugh and then they want to jam. I mean, you know what I mean? They want to drink and have a good time.
Usually after after you see a good comedy performance, you want to grab another beer and listen to some music. After
Absolutely,
that,
you've thought you got to kind of decompress from what you just experienced, and music and a band allow you to do that.
Well, it's so different too, because like when you're doing comedy, it's usually like, hey, everybody, shut the fuck up for 90 minutes and look at me. Listen to me. But like music, it's just like, oh, you can just fucking chill and jam and talk to your girlfriend or meet some new friends or whatever.
As long as you've got that beat going in the background, you can do whatever the hell you want. You could have just the glasses clanking together, the background talk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends also. Obviously there's genres that allow for more of that nonsense in the background.
Sure.
But,
right. If you're playing the acoustic guitar by yourself and no one's listening, it's like it definitely feels bad,
Yeah.
Stick said that rapping, when people aren't paying attention, he said that's the worst feeling possible. He said it's like the same as doing stand-up comedy and no one's listening.
I couldn't even imagine. I go see just the beach guys that play, and I mean, I respect what they do, because I couldn't be the background to everybody's day and just play like that.
Well, some of these guys aren't even trying,
That's true, but some of them are really, really good, and
some of them are actually decent.
And here people are just kind of passing them by, and you have genius in front of you, but he's getting paid a couple $100 to do that today, so he has to take it, and I just I love it for them, and I couldn't do it. That would be like working in a in a factory, screwing in bolts into something all day.
I remember when
couldn't do it.
I remember when I was in Madrid, there was like this old man like playing Spanish guitar, and it was like some of the most beautiful Spanish guitar that I had ever heard. I was like, this is amazing. And nobody that lived in Madrid could give a fuck.
Right.
Like they were just ignoring him. I was like, old man with a Spanish guitar.
Yeah.
I've seen that 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, it is soul sucking in some sense. I mean, I've done it a lot more than Darrell has. I mean, and being like a session drummer and everything, it's a weird feeling, I think, especially if you do have a original artistic project going. If you don't, and that's just what you do, it's less of a problem. But maybe, keeping the original side out of it helps get through the
I guess
monotony of it all. You know?
It's somebody like, this is somebody else's song, so who gives a fuck?
Right, it's
If
different
if they listen or
if
not.
They're listening,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking- if you don't like Jimmy Buffett, who gives a shit? Yeah.
Right. That's true.
What's the worst gig that you've ever played? Now, I think
Together or just in general?
just in general, yeah. Just you guys can both answer.
Well, you go first. I have a lot. Of
Okay.
I have a
gigs.
lot.
All right. Well, Gulf to Bay.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
There is a hotel right there as you come across the causeway, and they had bands and they did comedy in that room. And
What was that? Jack's joint?
is that
Yes.
Jack? Yes.
Yes.
Jack's
Jack's
joint.
joint.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
it. It was a lot of things, but
And,
I
And,
think I don't know if your brother ever did that one, but I definitely did it.
This was like, I forget if it was a New Year's Day
Yes.
or it was a New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Yeah. And they had said that there were going to be, 100 people there. They got ready for this.
Right. And they're charging what, $50 a ticket or something crazy?
Yeah, it was
Probably.
one of those where they and
overcharge 'cause it's New Year's?
overcharge, absolutely. And they had beer stations everywhere,
Yeah.
and then no one came. No one.
Right.
We had 3 people that were in the front of us, and we brought them, and it was like
It's like your girlfriends.
it was soul sucking because we were just getting out of the garage, and we had 40 songs. We were going to play 40 original tunes tonight. In front of what we thought was going to be hundreds of people, and it was nothing. And it was
I remember that gig. Yeah.
I didn't recover from that for a while. So, but
It hurts. It hurts
does.
real bad. But yeah, can you blame them? Jack's joint is a terrible place.
why would you go
Yeah,
there?
you can't blame people for not wanting to go there. Okay, that was an awful place. But I was actually just talking with the owner of that bar over text, like 2 days
Really?
ago.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
He owns another bar in St. Pete now.
It's nothing to him. It just was a bad day.
Oh
That
no!
was-
One
it was
time,
just-
one time at Jack's joint, which I believe it was branded as a Coconuts Comedy Club.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
at one time. Yes, that was
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
Oh, that was okay.
It was before that.
Wow.
Okay, so at one time it was a Coconuts Comedy Club, and Larry Greenbaum, who is like this little old man, definitely smokes crack.
Nice.
He booked it and he hosted every night, and he always wore a red blazer.
Okay, that's starting to come back because I remember
like a
there were
Hawaiian
comedy
show.
shows there. You guys did some shows there. So
yeah. I don't know if Danny ever
Danny did that.
stooped that low.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Wow.
But it was pretty bad. So one time, one day I was there. I think I was supposed to be headlining, and Larry was up there doing his hosting set or whatever, and then just a fucking rat runs over the Coconut sign. It's just and it's like dangling there above his head on the fucking Coconut sign.
God.
And then everybody in the audience sees it and starts like screaming. And he's like, what? And then like a bunch of people ran out, and I was just like, fuck this. I just got in my car and I just went home.
I actually have a worse
story?
I have a couple of
You got a couple?
bad
Oh,
ones. I'll tell you 2 of them.
What's the worst?
In order, I would say one of them was in St. Pete, and then one of them was in Houston, Texas. The Houston, Texas one was wild. I was playing in this indie rock band. We're on tour, and when I say Houston, like really on the outskirts of Houston, in like the industrial like coffee where they make coffee grounds,
Out there in Katy.
and this place, I think it might be still around. It's called like the Super Happy Fun Center. Right?
Super happy.
And there's like dark, like death clown, like graffiti. It looks like where they filmed the Saw movies. It's just big. It almost looks like like it could be a school. It's huge.
Okay.
So we go loading in, and it just looks terrible, and it's dark, and it's like, all right, this is what we're doing today. Who cares? And I'm on stage sound checking, and the bass player, great guy, he's like, hey, I'm gonna go run to the car and smoke or something. And usually I was right by his hip every day, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go with you, man. And I go walking out there, and it's one of those weird moments that you get for no reason. I just turned around and was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. And I don't even know why I said that. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go outside. I'm just gonna hang out. And homeboy comes back like 10 minutes later shaking. And he's like, oh my God, I was just robbed at gunpoint by the van. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And he took my bag, he took your backpack, your laptop, and just bolted. And I knew in that moment that I would have died that night because I would have done something stupid, like wanted to fight the guy.
You would have.
You know, and I lost like $500 or whatever it is. And it was just like, Jesus. And then I had to play this terrible, dark, gothic, you know, Hot Topic wet dream of a club. And I'm like, okay.
At least you didn't get any of your drums.
No, I mean, honestly, no, and I had at the time, my uncle lived in Houston, so he met up with us the next day, took us all out to eat, gave me some money for the road, but it was like just one of those moments where you lose everything on the road, and my in-ears were in there, so that was Houston, but cut back years before that, downtown St. Pete, I was hosting an open jam.
Open jam
at this
okay.
place, yeah, open mic type thing.
What place?
Used to be called Cafe Bohemia.
Okay,
now it's something. It's turned into a few things.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to name the guy, but there was a mutual person that Darrell and I knew, and for some reason we were on stage. He was a guitar player, and he was aggravating the hell out of me for no apparent reason. I don't know. And we were the backing band for whoever wanted to come up and play. So if you had a song, or if you thought you had a song, you could come up, tell us the chords.
Right.
We get you through it. You know. And this girl comes up and she's playing acoustic guitar, maybe a ukulele. So she's really chill.
So that was during the ukulele years?
Yeah.
There was like a lot of ukulele players for a while.
Well, she was like
big on
sitting.
YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
She had like no, I'm not kidding around. She had like a lily pad. She would like, it was like a whole thing. She had crystals. I mean, she was the most peaceful human being you've ever met. I'm setting this up, but it's germane to the story. So we start playing and this guy is like antagonizing me. And he did something like he hit me with his guitar, and
this is a person you know?
Yeah, I knew him not super well, but well enough to I was
right.
like, okay. And this guy is a normal size, probably undersized guy, like 5'6", 130 pounds, right?
Right.
Well, I'm 6'5", 230.
Yeah.
So I decide I'm pissed. Now he hits me, and I get up and I pick him up over the back of the stage, and I'm like shaking him like a baby. And I turn around, and this peaceful set that this girl is over, and now there's just a giant on stage beating the hell out of this little guy for no reason, because they don't know what's going on. And my buddy, who was best friends with the guy, he was like, listen, man, he's like, I saw the whole thing go down, but it doesn't fucking matter.
Those crystals weren't working, I guess, on you.
Dude, he's like, it doesn't matter because optically, everyone saw an ogre go off. And I just got the hell out of there. I didn't lose the gig. I came back next week, but the nice, peaceful girl hated me.
Oh, that's
so.
Yeah, you ruined her vibes, bro.
Well, I learned in that moment, you can't just, there's a difference in life. You know, you just can't.
When you were on a tour in Houston, I'm not sure you'd learned that yet. So he would have grabbed the gun. I mean,
I would have tried to fight the guy and probably
he would have grabbed the gun, and he has not. Yeah. He had not learned at that point that there are.
Yeah, gun wins the fight every time. Gun
pretty
versus
much.
no gun, pretty much always a win.
Absolutely.
Unless, no, it would have been stupid, and
like,
it was.
Don't take that bet.
No.
Well, for every action, there's a reaction, and if you don't realize
if you think you're gonna die, then yeah, fight then. But like, if he just wants your shit, then yeah, just give it to him.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
Although I think if you were there too, you may have done the same thing. Maybe. I mean, it was.
Listen, I'm trying every day to calm down, and I'm not sure if I'm there because sometimes somebody says something.
Like if somebody pulls a gun on you, just start screaming and crying as loud as you can. Just get down on your knees and scream and hold your face like a girl, and then I bet they'll just run.
Maybe I do think in that moment, because so many crazy things have happened in my life, and I've been a lot calmer than I thought I was going to be. So it's like fight, flight, or still. I think I actually probably would have been like, hey, dude.
Fight, flight, freeze. Is what
freeze. I think I probably would have done that, but looking back at it humbly, I think I probably would have died. You know what I mean? It made sense.
It's just a flip of the coin how you felt that day. What how you reacted to that situation. and either one of you could have come out. You know,
But I mean, I've
and
seen
so-
videos as well where like
I say that because I have.
I've seen videos where like a dude like pulls a gun on somebody in a gas station parking lot, so it's like surveillance footage, and then the other guy just takes a gun out of his holster and then shoots him 10 times.
See,
Like, you never know what's gonna happen.
I'm with you. That's
if you
why I
know what
stay
you're
out of
doing,
all of it.
if you know what you're doing with a gun versus you don't, and you just have one thinking you're going to rob someone, and that guy is really good with his,
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times he's going to get his out and get you before
just
you
kill
even
you, yeah.
before you even thought about how do I actually, do this thing here. And
Yeah.
but that wasn't one of those days. This was like I was 22 years old at the time. It's like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And I would have came out there and been like, all right, let me channel some like Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal, Die Hard, Under Siege. No,
I'm
it's not
talking
Die Hard.
40 years ago.
Okay,
Seagal.
but
Under
see, I'm
Siege.
talking the other day. I was at Home Depot, right? Okay, I'm with my girl, and we're talking about paint. We're just talking about these
regular-
shit. We don't want to spend the money. This sucks.
You got to buy the good
know?
paint.
But
Okay?
you got to
I'm
buy.
sorry,
the,
Darrell. You got to buy the good paint.
right? Exactly the conversation that's going on. These two guys pass us, and while they're passing us, they start mocking her, saying exactly what she's saying as they're walking by.
Why?
And I do all this calm shit. I'm grounding myself. You know what I mean? I'm taking. I'm
yeah.
walking. I'm appreciating nature.
Yeah, you're trying to be peaceful.
Yeah, I don't drink beer. I'm really calming myself down. You know what I mean? But I was losing it.
Oh, I
And
would've
in
crushed
this
him,
Home
bro.
Depot, man,
would've
I'm like
crushed
I'm
him.
gonna get.
I would have crushed him with you. I would have been like, let's.
I really thought for a minute I'm going to go to jail, and I told them
Yes.
this is not
Like,
the
yeah,
environment.
I wouldn't be talking shit in the store that has 1,000 weapons everywhere you fucking look,
Yeah.
and everyone in there.
and bricks.
And real men. Like real men are at Home Depot.
And you're
know what I
spending
mean?
too much money than you want to spend, no matter what it is. I don't care how much money
That's
you got.
also
If
true.
you're in Home Depot, you're spending more money than you want to. So you're pissed off,
Pissed
and then
off.
you've got
There's
these.
an axe right over there.
That's an axe right there.
I told them this is the wrong environment in order in
Yes.
which you should be doing this. And
Yeah.
and I think they got the idea. I stayed calm. I was very happy, but but you're right on the edge, and I
You're
don't.
stern, calm yet stern.
Yeah, I still didn't like it because my family is a history of
The
violence
Bevins family?
and,
No.
and
Oh, they're Wolverines, man.
and
All of them.
turning. And there's a turn, and once you get to that turn, it's not.
Yeah, it's hard to come back.
And
It's
my
hard to come
family
back.
all does it, and I really have always tried to stay away
But it
from
feels so good. It's so good to just get
in the
there
moment,
and
maybe, and then after you're like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have done that.
right.
But you look like a nice. Like I think he looks. Without us talking, he looks like
You look
a nicer
nice.
guy.
Yeah,
than
because
I
I
am.
never,
You look nice.
I never get this weird, fucking aggro bro bullshit. Like I never get
Yeah,
it when I
see?
go out. Yeah.
You don't?
No,
You're
no,
a nice looking guy.
I'm very nice. Yeah, I try to be nice.
See?
I don't like violence.
I'm right on the. I'm on the edge. I can come across to people as
Really?
violent, and then I can come across as easygoing. So.
Yeah, well, you're a musician.
I
so.
can usually calm the situation, and I usually have no care about it. But you're mocking a woman, and I don't like that already. And now she happens to be in love with me, and I'm in love with her, and that's a really now you've really done something wrong. So
At least they were kids. If they weren't kids, it would have been a different story,
well.
right?
Beat the
Kids.
shit. It's like a bad Santa beat the shit out of some
They were,
teenagers today.
yeah.
they
Wait a minute.
made me
They're
feel
not
really good
10,
about myself.
You know,
No, I'm saying they're
these are
18.
young men. These were 20.
Oh, they were
something.
20?
Oh, these were
Oh,
20
no.
something.
No, that's an ass whooping, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, this was legal. This was legal beating. I mean, I could have.
Well, there's no legal beatings.
If you watch the tape,
Like maybe you can get away with it.
Bro, just give him your. I would just give him
I don't
my
know if
address.
It's
man.
legal.
Just go, hey, look, here's my address. Come over. I can whoop your ass 15, 20 minutes before someone comes up. It's no problem. There you go. Right there.
Give him your card. It's very
Here's
professional.
my card.
I did that once. I was scared to death. I had a truck of guys pull up next to me at a light. I was by myself. And I mean like a truck. So the back is full and the inside is full.
Right.
And they are drunk and they are yelling and they pull up listening to their music and they couldn't wait to get to the light to stop next to me. And they are telling me what they're going to do to me and all that kind of stuff. Well, the light turns green and I turn and so they start to follow me. And I take my hand out the window and I tell them, and I pull down this street.
Yeah.
I know the neighborhood I'm in. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
But I'm pulling them in back roads, and I'm telling them to follow me, and I'm saying, "Come on." And
That's awesome.
eventually, they just went, "We're doing something wrong," and they turned around and,
they
left
turned
me
around.
alone. I didn't
Just
know
would-
what to do next.
Just
I'd
kept
already
driving in circles.
I'd already bluffed. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what to do next. But
That's funny.
That was yeah.
Well, no, because what it appears is that you're luring them into some sort of trap, and eventually, even if they're drunk, they're like, "Wait a minute, this could be." This could be a
we're
trap."
driving into the wrong place here, right? Yeah, it was my only play.
Good bluff.
Yeah, and thank God they took it. So yeah,
Very good bluff. Right now, I want to remind everybody to follow on all of our socials. Check out at John J S Planet and at Something Planet Podcast on Instagram. We do a bunch of reels from the show on there, and remember to follow these guys at Alien Hands 89 and at DC Bevins 49. And yeah, sorry, the camera is actually controlled by your hands. So
Really?
if you're talking with your hands, it's trying to interpret what you want.
That's pretty wild.
I talk with my hands, so I'm screwing
You
it up.
should. You should. That's part of the whole thing.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of part of the fun.
Yeah.
Also, make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. It's youtube.com at Something Planet. Yeah, and we're a video podcast on Spotify and YouTube, and we are audio everywhere else. Let's see. I don't have a sponsor this week. My sponsor went dark on me. Yeah, I think I said too many of the wrong things. Can never hold a sponsor. Yeah, I can never hold a sponsor.
No, well,
Well,
you know.
Orange Hour's sponsoring you today. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's say if you guys want to start a business, you can totally sponsor the Something Planet.
That's what
podcast.
sucks about being in a band. You know, like being a comic, you know, you got your social security number. That's it. Boom. Done.
Yeah.
You're done. Okay. But with a band, you got to have a business, and you got to have an accountant, and you got to have legal work done.
I definitely
and then
have an accountant.
You got to, and I know you got to copyright your jokes and stuff like that. But so there's so much paperwork to do. It sucks. I can't believe it. I just want to write songs. That's it.
I just want to write songs. And
That's
then
it.
Have them not belong to someone else.
Right, and they're like, if you don't have 7 numbers attached to that song, it's not done. It's like, I don't even know what 7 numbers you're talking about.
right. But you find out that's just part of it, you know.
Part of the business of being an artist, I guess.
Well, if you want to do that,
I'm doing it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That
I don't
really helps
mind
me out.
doing that. I mean, that's just part of like fearing the machine. Like when we first, when I first moved back to Tampa Bay, I was traveling the country playing in different artists. And I moved back down here post pandemic, and we got back together and started writing music and recording music.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call it a moral dilemma that Darrell was having. I wasn't having it. Was should we use Spotify and iTunes to release music, or should we just have it on our own platform and try to drive traffic?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, don't do that. Use Spotify. Not that he was wrong, but only because looking at it, like I don't want to fear the machine. And I think is when you're generating fans and you're generating an audience base, it's like I need to use that tool. I need to use the machines to my advantage.
Right.
And then maybe at one point, and then kind of like rethinking, okay, instead of selling music, maybe we write music, we compose music, we're musicians, but we sell apparel. You know, like you're more likely to sell a band T-shirt these days than you are
Than
a
an
band,
album, yeah.
an album. And looking at that and not fearing the machine. Again, 20, 30, 40 years ago, maybe we wouldn't have to worry about, oh, what's the exact copyright of this thing and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, or how do we, but, you know, we're not in those days anymore. And it's a lot figuring out how to do that.
Yeah,
And it does create these intellectual
Honestly, without the
dilemmas.
machine, and I feel kind of the same way. I do get like a dilemma, like working with Amazon and Spotify and Google and all that shit. I think it's normal to have those concerns too. But like without Amazon or whatever, I just like wouldn't even have like a special out.
That's funny.
Like I sold the audio rights to all of those jokes to a record company, and the record company has not put it out. So like without Amazon, I'd be fucked. Yeah, I couldn't. That would have been 10 years of work gone.
Yeah, and that's hard to do because it's like on one side, I can understand why Darrell wants to keep all that and have that all as his own property and whatnot. But who are going to be the people? Like nowadays, as you guys know, like no one watches the news anymore. They get their news from almost podcast and etc.
Podcast. Well, I'm a grumpy old man. I still read. I read.
You still read? Okay,
I read
reading
the newspaper. Yeah.
But most people are using like we all stream stuff. The idea of cable networks. So those industries, unfortunately for them, that is the soul of their industry. Where us, the soul of our is art.
Right.
So it doesn't matter to me of how we get it there, as long as it gets into those hands. And at the end of the day, it's if you have 1 million people listening to your music for free, I think you can take that and convert it into different types of sales.
Maybe they bring their happy, smiling faces out to see you play.
Right, that's the ticket.
And now you're hanging out. Now you're making friends, and you're gonna have fans for life. That's kind of the. There's it's so weird because over the years you'll start seeing the same people coming to see you over and over and over again. Like, fuck, you actually like me. This feels really good.
That is awesome.
Right.
Like, this feels awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have
listeners to this podcast, like somebody stopped me in a grocery store and were like, love your podcast. Like, that's fucking awesome. I love that.
That is
cool.
awesome.
That is a good, and I think, us going back to Orange Hour, I mean, we were in 2009 through 2011, we had a pretty good local following. And there's still people to this day that since that time will reach out and go, hey, whatever happened to that, or that would have been cool if that band did XYZ. So it would be interesting to see when it's rebranded and it's out there, what that pulls back in, if they're still there. But
there's a lot of people still out there, you know what I mean, that were followers. We did have a good following. Talking about when like St. Pete hadn't built up yet, and going down there, you had to have a reason to go down to St. Pete. There were just a couple of bars, and they were struggling.
It was kind of hood back in the day.
It was, and so we played there and loved it, and gained the following and did the work, and
we became as do you want that correct URL? I can get it to you.
Oh, I'm sure I can look it up. I forgot to bring it up before.
No worries. It's just Orange Hour songs.
Orange
it's
Hour
the most
songs.
basic.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Orange Hour was, as successful as you could be as an original band in the Tampa Bay area. We were, I believe, and I don't mean that in like an ego way. It's just we were playing every week.
Right.
We got on to the big festivals. We played some really cool shows, and for Darrell, I mean, Darrell was always 15 years older than the other guys in the band, so it was probably very frustrating having 19, 20-year-olds coming in and having to be their
I get mad at Darrell because he looks so young. If you didn't have the gray goatee, nobody could tell you were older.
Right.
You shave that off, and you look younger than me.
That's my maturing right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
But now being on the other, now I'm a few years older than you were when I met you, and now being on this side and then coming back to Orange Hour, it's a cool thing, and it plays back into the first album theme, So
well, I think Orange Hour was successful back then, and one of the reasons was the members all moved on and did successful things. So Nick went on to Nashville and then to tour with other bands. Taylor plays in bass downtown St. Pete. He is the bassist downtown St. Pete.
Right.
And then Hugh moved out to Washington State and had a pot farm. I mean,
okay.
And a dispensary, and things were successful for those guys. So they were young guys, and they were coming out, and there were all kinds of options for you guys and of things that could have happened to you, and you succeeded, all of you, and so I thought that was pretty cool. And then Zion was with
absolutely.
us,
and just
he's
because
out on a mountain.
Just because you quit something doesn't mean it's not successful, and doesn't mean that you can't come back to it. This show's taken a year-long hiatus a couple of times,
really?
just because I got burned out.
There's steps to success, and there's those pitfalls maybe that we had and we're going to have did allow for some of the members to go on and do things. However, at the same time, I do think now, retroactively, if the last 16 years we would have kept pushing as Orange Hour, where would we be today? And I can't say with certainty that it would have been a bad idea. No, I think it would have been a great idea, but we can't go back and do that. But how cool would that have been to keep going? Because that's always
you never know anything. I think at a certain point you mature and you stop making art to make money or to get famous, and you start making art for yourself and to enjoy doing it. I think I don't know. It happens. It's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's different for everybody. Where you're like making something new that you really love, and you very well know that maybe only a couple thousand people might ever hear it or even give a shit at all. But do it anyway.
That was the last album. So on the last album, I needed to show people something. Like, I can do this. I can record a song. I can write a song. I can make it listenable, make it good, all those things. But on this album, it's like, no, these were songs I loved. I wanted to play them, and he heard them and said, "Do you mind if I tool with this and change some of this?" And I was like, "All free, man. Let's do this."
Yeah, see what happens.
And through it, it's been. And then he wrote songs, which was crazy because all the time we've been together as musicians here, man, and brothers, I never saw you really write and compose.
Right.
You dabbled in all of the instruments and stuff like that, but you never really wrote. And so he sent me these three tracks.
I think when you move to Nashville, that starts to be expected of you.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny how this came about, the rebirth of this project, because at the end of 2024, I had a lower spine fusion surgery, and I was going to be out for quite a while. And Darrell had texted me after my surgery. I was in post-op, out of my mind, and Darrell said, 2025 is going to be the year of music for us. And my first thought was, the fuck does that? Like, no, it's not. Like, And I had moved out in the middle of nowhere, Parrish, Florida, and just through happenstance, I was gifted a electronic drum set, which for drummers usually is, we never want to even look at this thing and touch this thing.
Yeah, they usually hate them.
Hate it. But I was messing with it.
They all have one and they all hate it.
Hated it. But I set it up in the house. I was like, I'm just going to, as I'm healing and recovering, I'll mess around with it. And then he starts sending me
it's good to get moving again for sure.
Yeah. He starts sending me these rough acoustic versions, like, these songs. And I would just take them and I would like copy and paste and make them longer and add some reverb. And then I was like, you know what? They're good enough where I can add some grooves to them. And I probably spent 40 hours on like 7 of these songs before we even really knew what they were going to be. And I've never done that before. I never had the ability at home to sit there and work on these.
One thing to focus on.
Yeah. And I got so hyper obsessed with getting these songs done. Again, back to that theme that I had, that I wanted to tell this story. And it just so happened that the lyrics that he was writing were at least 80%, if not 90%, on board with that theme. It wasn't like I had to go, hey, can you take that song and instead of making it about a baseball player, can you make it about a love story? It was already there. And I was like, that's pretty ironic that you're already writing these songs that I can gear to this story. And then I came up with like a 30-page written graphic novel about the story. And it was so weird that it all happened. And then since January, I've recorded about 200 songs. So he was right. 2025 was
It is,
the
yeah.
year.
It was your year for music. That's awesome. I had some
Yeah.
friends. They themed their album like that and wrote like a graphic novel and stuff. It's really cool. It's awesome.
Different
to
way to-
express yourself in like a multimedia facet. You know.
And then the three songs he's talking about that I wrote they're just very strange. And I didn't know what was going to come of them. I thought they were going to be like instrumental tracks or something, or 20-second songs in between, whatever.
Right.
And he loved them so much that he wanted to put words to it. And I was like, okay, and didn't know what was going to happen. And then now they're honestly one of my favorite parts of the album.
That's
and
great.
I didn't even know. So it's kind of cool that he saw something in them that I always see from your stuff, obviously. So again, I'm just very happy and proud about what it is that we've accomplished.
I got to
So-
take those songs that you wrote then, and then I knew what the storyline was, and I knew what we were trying to accomplish on the album. So I was able to take these three songs that had nothing and write
Right.
kind of the holes to get to where we were able to have this. And so
Paste it together. Paste it together so it's like a linear path.
I don't think it's Coheed and Cambria kind of, inventing a new world. It's
Yeah,
just
that
a-
stuff goes pretty deep. I'm not. I mean, I've listened to the music, but I'm not into like the graphic novel stuff because it's like very, very deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't really, I was just messing around with sounds, and it's funny, so we all use Spotify, right?
Right.
And I pay for the Spotify because whatever. And every year it tells you, hey, this is your top artist. It's kind of
Right.
cool that they do that. The last 3 years, my top two artists my top one artist is Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer's great.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
I listen to soundtracks. So when I approached this album, one of the overall themes, influences was Hans Zimmer. So the three songs that I make are complete. I mean, they're terrible to anything that he would ever think of making, but that was the influence. It wasn't, Travis Barker. It wasn't John Bonham. It wasn't. Matter of fact, there wasn't even drums in these damn songs originally. There's barely any drums in them. But I wanted to get this damn essence out, and he must have picked up on that. And I didn't know what the hell he was gonna come up with, because I didn't hear lyrics. But he did, and to this day, I still don't know where the hell he's hearing them. It doesn't make sense to me.
He sent me one just recently. It's going to be like we're going to use as advertising to get the rest of the album and out.
Yeah, if you got like a 30-second song that you could get onto like Reels or whatever.
Exactly, something like that. So he just sent it to me, and I've got this. I went poem with this one, so it's different. But it was cool. It was really cool to write stuff over your stuff,
That's
man.
awesome.
And I think we've decided that the rest of the music we're going to kind of do half and half, or we do it that style. And
Okay.
it's a really cool album. The first song is basically rage oriented, and the next song is dance. So it makes turns on you immediately, and it doesn't allow for that.
Does it ever get as peaceful as the Crystal Lady from the Open Jam?
Actually, no. There's two songs on the album that get very so the first full band song is track number 2, is a pretty peaceful tune. I liken it to kind of like a Dave Matthews kind of vibe. And then there's another song on the album, Hum, that is very peaceful, but also I think has kind of like a Hosier kind of like really raw.
Okay. I'm into that.
Storytelling, epic vocal arc.
Definitely into
Actually,
that.
that's the last track on the album. It ends on that very peak, kind of a somber love story of a song. So the album is kind of like Darrell and I, where you can't put either one of us in a musical box and say, okay, you're a rock drummer, you're a jazz drummer. Like we do hit a lot of different genres, which at the time,
that's
many
what I've
years ago,
always
was a
liked.
problem though, because we didn't have an identity.
Right.
And
So you're just bouncing around between
we're
too many
bouncing
things?
around, and that's echoed in even my top 5 favorite bands. It's all over the place,
Right.
which is great though, because I think if you want to be the best
I don't
You
hate
know,
that. You
you
know,
gotta
that's why I
listen.
like. I've listened to your guys' music before, and I like that about it. I like Sick Martin's music because it's kind of he will not settle on a genre.
Right.
He refuses,
That's a good thing.
and I think
though.
that's cool. Yeah, just make whatever. Yeah, Primus, Ween. That's
In order
yeah.
for somebody to listen to the full album today, it has to have that movement. And so we're going to start you off in one direction, and you will not hear that direction again. But it stays in our genre.
Right.
It
It goes.
what we're creating.
I think the album goes anywhere from Tame Impala, Dave Matthews, Rise Against, Blink-182 to Hozier.
Okay.
I really believe that.
I mean, that's interesting. We are going to listen to one song at the
we are?
end of the show.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
So I do have it pulled up, but until then, I do want to do one quick segment.
You do
Massive
it.
Media.
Yeah, all right.
It's Something Planet Massive Media tonight.
Welcome to Something Planet Massive Media. Yeah, Stick Martin didn't write this one. I think I had AI generate this.
I was gonna say that bass line was a little funky.
It's a funky bass line
Yeah.
from
I
AI.
hated it.
Welcome to Massive Media. This is where we talk about all the stuff that we're watching or listening to or reading or anything, really.
Okay.
I do want to talk about, I did see the new movie Friendship starring Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with Tim Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, a really funny comedian, really strange comedian. Now, he didn't write this movie, but the movie was written for him to star in. So,
Okay.
the person that wrote it, that was their first choice, basically.
Got it. Yep.
Wow.
It stars Tim Robinson, who is he gets a new neighbor that moves in, and he's just like this guy, middle-aged guy that's in a rut, doesn't really have any friends or whatever. And Paul Rudd plays the local TV weatherman that just moved into the neighborhood, and they start up like a friendship, but then it kind of takes like a weird and dark turn.
Okay.
So it's an A24 movie.
All right. All right. Yeah.
So every A24 movie, even if it's not a horror movie, it's kind of a horror movie.
Yes.
I like that.
So I loved it. I don't think I should give anything away though, because it's
Don't,
one of those
because-
movies that you just don't even watch the trailer. Just watch the movie.
It was on my list to possibly watch, but now that you've just said horror, she is going to want to watch that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that is her
It's not
genre.
exactly horror, but it has the same feeling of you feel uneasy the entire time you're watching it.
I get it.
Basically, yeah. So honestly, I think it's great. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give that 8 out of 10 planets.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. I loved
All
it.
right.
I thought I'm just so sick of watching the same movie over and over again. And when somebody just makes something original that really makes me that piques my
There.
interest.
You already know where I'm going with this.
I know where he's going. So let me go because you're going to be able to
No.
take this off. So let me go real quick. Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid. Did I watch that?
So a buddy of mine that we record with, Steven, told me, you got to
Okay.
watch this movie, man. And him and he told me about Dune, about the new release of Dune, and it's
Dune Part 1 and Part 2.
I had
Great.
to see those
Great movies.
because I wanted those to be so good when it was in 1980 in the 1980s and it was terrible.
I mean,
So-
Lynch. It was a David Lynch movie. It wasn't true to Dune. It was a
Right.
David Lynch movie.
Right. So he
I
told
like it, but it's not Dune.
I love Dune, and I was like, I'm in. He's like, you got to watch Beau is Afraid. This is the greatest movie ever. It's a 3-hour movie. Okay, so get ready. All right. And I'll tell you it's a 1 out of 10 is what, I'm giving it 1.
Is
okay?
that bad?
And my girlfriend is giving it a 10.
And she loved it. Okay.
So you either absolutely love this movie or you hate it.
So you hated it.
Beau is Afraid. So who is in it?
I'm an American, okay? I want my movie to end. I want to know how the story wrapped up.
Oh, I see.
I
see.
want.
Beau is Afraid.
I even like that Hollywood has been like, no, we want a Hollywood ending. I'm cool with that, I don't like it when the dog dies.
I
There's
definitely don't like it when a
Okay.
dog dies.
there's just certain things that I don't, I don't care for.
Right.
And she likes
Well, it's a
thrillers
horror
and
comedy, it
horror,
says.
and
You didn't like Schindler's List.
Well, it's not a happy story.
There's an alternate ending in there. You gotta get it's in the
Like-
Blu-ray edition.
Like we know how it ends, and it's fucking terrible. Yeah, it's a terrible.
heaven.
No, that's
Like
a
there's some
terrible
movies
movie.
that I watch, and I'm like, that is a very good movie, but I
Jesus.
do not want to watch that ever again.
Right.
The reason it was cool is because Steven liked it and she loved it, and so I got to see like her enjoyment of it,
Right.
while I was just
Just
kind of on the inside.
so that's
but he did his
Joaquin
job.
Phoenix.
He
Yeah.
did his job. He did his job.
I like Joaquin Phoenix an awful lot. So
I'm telling you, you're gonna you either love it or hate it.
He was in that movie, Her.
that's a good movie, man.
That's a good one. And this week they were just reporting that this dude fell in love with Chat GPT.
Yes.
And he proposed to it, and she said yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the Chat GPT said yes, of course.
And they're shipping him the AI bot now, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. So, but I think everybody's forgetting
I've
the
had worse.
moral. The moral to that movie was that guy was a loser.
Right,
And
that was the moral. He was an idiot.
It was that he was just a total loser, and he couldn't
Right.
be in a relationship because he didn't like himself.
Right.
Yeah, that was the whole point
That's-
of that entire movie. 'Cause
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't watch that
the
movie
bot
and go-
the bot dumped him at the end.
Yeah. See, you see the
He's a
movies.
loser.
The
Yeah.
movies that you and I like growing up, where it taught you something good, and that's how you should probably be.
Yeah.
You don't. If you watch Her and you leave that theater going, I think I should download GPT
I
right
think
now.
I should fuck a computer.
You missed the whole part.
Yeah, you missed the whole point of this.
You don't go and no. The point is you get your shit together. You
Yeah,
read,
get
you
your
read a
fucking
book.
life together. Yeah.
Yeah. You start, and that's terrible.
So what's yours? What do you
What's my what?
your
Did you
your
watch any
show
movie?
or your book or whatever your
Well, should I say?
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay,
good,
so
yeah,
my
yeah.
thing that isn't super obvious unless you know it is Severance, the Apple TV. you
Oh,
know,
I love
the
Severance.
Apple.
Yeah.
And Severance was 100%, in my head when making the thematic elements for this album. Hence the name Severed.
There was a
It's-
band that just
so-
came out with a Severance themed music video. I now
Really?
forget what band it was, but they did a really good job.
Well, it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
you know,
it looked great. It
if
looked
you
like the
know-
show. Yeah.
If you know the show and you know the score, you know
Oh, yeah, whoever composed that, yeah,
it's
fucking
brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I've listened to last year.
perfectly paces with the show.
Last year, the Severance intro theme was my most played song on Spotify. It was somewhere like 75 times I listened to it. It was something crazy, and probably a lot more. But watching that show, being so enthralled by it, it really influenced me to want to take these songs. And it's not a play-by-play of the story or anything like that. But it just made me want to get up out of bed and make art.
Okay.
You know, so it did to me what like Dan Marino did to me in the '90s. I wanted to play football with my brother.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like Ben Stiller has definitely inspired a lot of artists with this TV
Yes.
series. He really has. Like, just a fantastic
Yeah.
job. And I think they're going to do one more season.
They are 100%. They're signed on for 1 year.
Okay.
But like anything
I mean,
else.
I thought that could have been a good ending where it ended in season 2. I thought that it could have ended there, but I'll see
cliffhanger.
more. Yeah, huge cliffhanger.
I don't
but-
want to. You haven't seen it.
Well,
he hasn't seen it. So don't
Yeah,
say
so
anything.
once he said this album is going in this direction, and I'm going to use this as the as the theme, I didn't want to watch it. It's on my list to watch, but I didn't
Right.
want to watch it because I wanted us to be able to come from two different sides. Like you don't have to like that show to like this album. I came at it from a different
Right,
angle.
you haven't seen it,
And-
so.
but he
But he's
kept
gonna
it
love
true to script. I'm gonna love it. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
outside of comedy TV shows, Breaking Bad was always my number one. This one just it just went right
I would
over.
call it a comedy. I laugh out loud quite a bit.
It's got comedical elements.
Yeah.
but it is in fact
It's dark as shit.
It's a dark drama, but
that's how every Apple TV
Yes.
comedy show is. They're all dramedies, every single one.
Got it.
Ted
Well, like-
Lasso was definitely had some drama to it.
Yeah.
but
I love Ted Lasso.
That's great.
He was awesome.
Well, the new one that I wanted to talk about was Owen Wilson is in a new show, Stick.
Oh, okay.
It's a golf show. So it's basically Happy Gilmore meets Ted Lasso, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So it's he's like a washed-up ex-pro PGA golfer, and then he finds this kid that can just fucking hit a
That is
ball.
epic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like
And
that
so
show.
he becomes a coach. It's great.
Okay,
I
cool.
mean, there's nothing.
All right.
It's not all that complicated of a formula, but it's done well.
And that's on Apple?
That's on Apple. Yeah,
Okay.
I won't rate it yet until the end of the first season, but I am watching it.
Wait, where
Just-
do you rate Severance?
Severance? 10 out of 10.
10? See what I'm saying?
of
Dude,
course.
it's so good.
It's one of the best shows in the past 20 years, I would say.
You know what Severance did really well? I thought they didn't do anything cliche just to do it. There was cliche things in there, but they were just part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
It was part of the character arc to have this guy have that identity, for this couple to have their thing. They didn't force it, and it was so organic that it made me think a couple years ago when Adam Sandler did the Uncut Gems.
Oh, that was
it
a
was the
great
first
movie.
time we
Yeah.
really saw him move and then outside of his box, and then Ben Stiller move outside of his box, and you're like, wow, I wonder what did they always have that? And they were just hiding behind the comedic,
Well, I
know?
think what it is that comedy is the hardest thing to write. So I think if you could be good at comedic writing and comedic acting, I think the dramatic stuff just happens more naturally.
I guess I never thought of it like that because I'm not a comedian, so I didn't think of it as. I would have thought it would have been
really
the other way
hard
around, but
it's really hard to force an audience to laugh, and that's what you have to do.
they do have laugh tracks.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, not everybody wants to be Jerry Seinfeld, though. You know.
But I thought Jerry was great at both, though.
No, he's good.
But you're right. I mean, there's no. But you're right. There's no such thing as a drama track where it's like intense. Like it's just it either it is or it's not.
Right.
But
right.
you're right. Like real raw laughter is
genuine
tough, man.
laughter. Yeah.
By yourself on stage in front of X amount of people.
Exactly. Well, even just to
Yeah.
make someone, like when you're making a television show, to make someone laugh out loud while they're sitting on their ass by themselves in a living room, that's very difficult.
You're right.
And if you can nail that, you're going to get paid.
And see, when I'm watching, the regular channels at 8:00 on a Thursday,
Right.
I'm not laughing at that show.
Right.
That show's not funny to me. I mean,
But like I
10
put
out of
on Always Sunny, and I will laugh out loud in the living room.
I was just gonna say, what are the 10 out of 10 shows and
Comedies? Yeah.
and you just named one.
Always Sunny.
Always Sunny.
One of the. I mean, it beat out Cheers for like the longest
I
running
still
sitcom.
I still think The Office is like the top.
Okay.
Office holds up.
Okay.
New Girl, if you've ever watched that one,
Yeah.
that one's great.
I didn't watch that.
Really
All right.
good ensemble cast.
All right.
and great writing. I think the woman who writes that is named Elizabeth Sharp or something like that.
Okay.
I
All
always
right.
loved Yes Dear. I thought Yes Dear was great for its time.
I don't remember that one. I
Yes,
mean, I
dear.
remember it was the guy with the accent.
It was like in there with King of Queens and type of stuff, and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
did really well.
Well, King of Queens. There you go. That's another one.
Oh man, he's great.
But Breaking Bad, I mean, if we get away from comedies and we say Breaking
Bad is a 10
you
out of
guys
10.
are putting Severance on there.
I'm putting
Oh.
Mr. Robot, I think, is a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Ozarks, I'm going to throw that on there.
I think
10?
that's. I think
it's a 10 out of 10.
I think it's just as good as at Breaking Bad.
I don't see any reason why it's not right there with
All right.
Breaking.
I liked Umbrella Academy. I didn't see the newest season, but that was a pretty original show.
The newest season was the worst season.
Yeah, is Gerard Way still leading that?
No, he wasn't. I don't think he worked on the third season.
Well, that might be.
I think they changed it from his story. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it followed. I think they stopped following his story after the second season.
What'd you guys think of The Boys?
Solid.
I mean, that's a great first season, right? And then you go to the second season,
Didn't see it.
and there's a couple of things that you're just like, did you have to go there? I mean, I don't know if when you watch it, just
The first season is the only one that holds on to the source material.
Okay, yeah.
And then after that, it gets weird. But I still like it. I wouldn't call it a 10 out of 10 show, but it's good.
I do Three's Company as a 10 out of 10.
I don't think I've ever seen a episode of that.
Wait, did you see Better Call Saul?
Oh yeah, I like that one.
It started so slow,
It's
but it
so
got
slow.
so good.
It got so good
Bro, it's
towards
so
the
good.
end.
It's even better than Breaking Bad, to be honest with you. Once it gets rolling.
Well, I
it's
think
just-
Vince Gilligan just got better at writing.
Yeah. And Bob Odenkirk really became like, and then you saw him in those movies, the Nothing or Nobody.
Yeah.
He's crazy, man.
Okay, that's a 10 out of 10 movie right
That's
there.
what I'm
Nobody.
saying.
Nobody is one of the best.
That's good.
Did you see the sequel, or is it even out yet?
No, it's not out yet.
No, I haven't
So
seen
you
it.
haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it. I did see John Wick 4 the other day. I finally got around
See, I
to
can't
that.
get into the Wicks, man.
It's more like you're watching it more because the stunt work and the cinematography is so good.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
too. It's. I
Listen,
It's 3 hours long, yeah. And
My
it's like,
nephew is okay if you come out with John Wick 40, okay?
Yeah,
and he's
he'll
got
watch
a
it
cane.
forever.
You know, right?
how
right,
many
he's in.
goddamn
There was
Fast
a-
and Furious movies do we need?
I mean, if they'll stop making
in
them
on
when
that.
people stop watching them. Yeah, they're never
The
gonna
John
stop.
Wick thing is just. It's okay. Look,
We got our last Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise says that was retired.
Yeah, we think so.
Yeah, until he gets bored and wants to jump out of planes again.
Right.
I can't
Somebody
You know how they
spends
suspend.
write
from
those movies?
how it
The Mission Impossible movies, they don't even write a script.
Really?
They just sit down. Tom Cruise and the producers sit down, and then they come up with a list of locations and a list of stunts
No
that they
way.
want to do.
Oh my
And then they hire a writer to write a screenplay around
Around
that.
that.
Yeah.
I just can't suspend my
hilarious.
imagination that much.
hilarious.
You know, like when you watch John Wick versus, let's say, The Departed, they're both shoot 'em up movies,
Right.
right? But The Departed isn't shoot 'em up every 5 seconds.
Right.
So-
Honestly, I think that's my favorite Scorsese.
Right.
Is The
I
Departed.
forget the name of it
It's just
now.
such a clever movie, and it flows really well. even
Oh,
though
and it
it's super
disappoints
long.
you all over the place.
Right.
And it just rips your heart out. But
You got a John Wick movie out there where the guy doesn't talk. He's been shot in the throat, so he can't talk. So now there's no acting. All it is shooting, and it was
just
cool.
shooting.
I loved it. You know?
that was a real movie?
Yeah, it's a real movie. It's
Yeah,
on.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's on Netflix.
They did one like that where it was all from like first person, like it was a video game. Like you never saw the guy, you just see like a gun like out in front of
A
him.
crosshair, maybe?
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
just ridiculous shit. But anyway, we got to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we are gonna get played out by one of your songs. Which one of these do you want me to play?
I say you do
All right.
give me too much of you.
Give me too much of you playing us out.
To play us
See you
out.
guys.
What does that mean? To play us out. I don't know what that means, to play us out. What does that mean? To end the show? Yeah. All right, go.
see.
I can't do it.
Boom.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
It does. Good job, bro.
Nope, screwed that up. Here we go.
Hitting a groove, some call it the zone. Naked like we were at home. Watch our bodies move. I see the moon melting tide.